enough shitting on Frodo. I can do it all day.
I mean, yeah, of course. Hello, greetings, salutations, and welcome to Y.A.R.P episode 93.
Oh
And
boy.
and today, Mission Impossible, the first one.
Today, Mission Impossible. So, Wyatt and me, we like to talk about death battles and stupid shit like that. We talk about comic book stuff. And he proposed one death battle of Ethan Hunt versus Boss. And that's what it came. That's what I came to the. I've really only saw the.
Sorry,
Huh?
Ethan Hunt versus who? You cut out in the second.
I cut off right there. Really? Hang on a second.
We said Ethan Hunt versus Big Boss, and I was
Oh,
Ethan
Big
Hunt
Boss,
versus.
easy.
Well, I don't know because Ethan Hunt would probably have the technology advantage, but I don't know what the technology advantage would be.
my thought process was basically that Ethan's biggest strength is honestly just not being seen because
Well,
of
well,
because of
that's
how
also
covert he is.
well, that's you could say the exact same thing about Big Boss though.
No,
But,
yeah, Big Boss is more sneaking in the jungle and the shadows, where Ethan's more of a hide in plain sight type guy.
Yeah, but I feel like relativistically, you either could do both because remember, Big
Yeah.
Boss also sneaks into he sneaks into multiple military bases and Peace Walker, and
Yeah,
technically in fucking Ground Zeroes.
yeah, and in 3, it's proven that he can actually do disguise rather well.
Yeah, you just can't disguise his penis. That's reference for like literally like anybody who's played that game. But no, so that's what it came to the realization. It's like I don't really know much about because I only watched what I thought was the first, but it was actually the second movie. I've only seen the second movie once when it was available in block, so like a good 20 years ago. And yeah, it was really interesting to actually like get. So we decided to do this. We kind of need to round out to episode 100, and this turned out to be the perfect like set of movies because it would make it so we end on 99.
Yeah,
So,
and I really like these movies.
Yeah, and the EFAP crew speaks by Fallout, which sadly is not an actual live action Fallout, but it's a Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yeah, that's where he gets the Pip Boy.
Yeah.
And
Nobody liked that.
I liked that.
I know, I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about the movies.
So,
just
to confirm, I'm the only one that's seen a good number of them, correct?
Actually,
I saw them as
enough.
they came out, but I remember basically fuck all.
I've seen apparently the first 4. I thought I'd only seen the first 3. Wyatt says I've seen Ghost Protocol. I have no memory of this.
So what had happened, like, because I know what it
happened was.
So I was like, oh, how many of them have you seen? And I think you confirmed you had only seen 3. So I showed you 1, 2, and 4. And because we skipped a rewatch of 3 because of all these series. I hate 3 the most. That's because
he said you hate 2 as well, but
I know I love 2. 2 is not a good movie, is what I said.
Okay, fair enough.
I think the one I remember the most is the one that has the fat guy from Almost Famous.
What?
Something Hoffman, I think.
Hoffman?
What?
No, that name.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. That's 3.
him.
Oh yeah, fat guy. Okay, from Almost Famous.
Yeah,
I thought it was the fat guy from Charlie Wilson's War, where he was also a spy.
You know, talking in references when none of us can remember the name of any of the references is it's an uphill fucking battle, man.
It's a bit of a detriment. Not gonna lie, it's kind of hard to fucking know what anybody's actually saying at any. Oh, I think we did okay. Say, cut to Iron Man 2 saying that, like there's an explosion behind.
I think I did okay.
Explosion.
That's
gonna be a debate topic, bro.
Oh man, we're gonna talk about that later.
We once we do like a full
here's
the thing,
we'll
we did a
say.
partial rewatch.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Anyway, Mission Impossible. So we sat down and watched this movie. This is from 1990, right?
96, yeah.
96. Yeah.
So there's a couple things in this movie that did not age well.
Well, All right, let's just get
Yeah.
into it. So
Yeah.
movies didn't understand what the internet was for a
What's
long time.
what is that? Why can you
Movies,
explain-
well, people in general didn't understand what the internet was, which is why they kind of got away with it at the time. But people making movies really did. Like, imagine you take a caveman, you thaw him out, you sit him down, and you try to explain what a Google search is.
And
This
then he
is
tries-
kind of what he would come up with.
And then he tries to kill you because he can only eat
I was gonna say
You only what?
after you,
nothing. That's a Baki reference. The
So- go ahead.
no, I was just saying the fact that it said internet on the fucking page like 16 times it just killed me.
Oh yeah, and then he goes in job and no results because
Job.
right. Okay, the setup and context so that we can keep track of what the fuck is happening. He
Allegedly.
was on a job, and the whole beginning of the movie is just him on this job where there's this Russian guy. He has a disc. They need to get the disc because it's a bunch of their own agents who might be out at a very high stakes mission.
Yeah,
They
knock
fuck it up.
list.
Yep.
It all goes tits up, and at the end of it all, it turns out that this whole operation was actually a mole hunt. This is one of those classic spy
Which-
movie twists. Every time you think you know what was happening, surprise, it was all the other thing.
Which
And
Surprise,
he
everyone's
finds out, it's like,
retarded.
oh, we were set the fuck up, and because I survived, it
I look like
basically
the
looks
bad
like a fucking slam dunk that I am the mole, and I am basically gonna disappear into Guantanamo forever.
Well,
Mhm.
actually, what's actually really cool is it's one of my points. You can see like almost from second one how it's a setup. If you just pay attention to the other people in
like
the party, there are people that are directly staring at them.
Yeah, which I feel like it's not as subtle as
Yeah, it's not as subtle as the
like,
movie likes to.
there's a point where it's
think
like
it-
that guy's looking like at the camera and it's a spy movie. Like,
Yeah, they're
Like
trying
some
to get
dude who
across
didn't
the
realize
audience.
he was an extra is like looking at the camera.
that's dude, that's
He's
what
like,
it looks
"Hey, mom."
but like that's what it looks like, but I was like, wait a minute, this is a spy movie. That's probably intentional. And sure
Yeah.
enough it was,
Yeah.
and they showed the exact same scene where the guy's like looking at the camera. He's like it's like he's not even like in the background. It's like it looks like he's standing next to the chair. It's like okay.
Anyway.
You're slightly
In the
cutting
scene
in and
where it
out, by the way,
gets,
Max.
Am I cutting out?
Yeah,
Very
quite a bit.
so slightly. So maybe turn what did that was the noise suppression thing. Maybe turn that thing back off. And if we just hear the fan, like it's fine.
See, his voice should be more than enough to like just activate the microphone without it being a problem, but whatever.
It really
Anyway,
should be.
the scene where it gets revealed that that was a whole fucking mole hunt and all this, the only clue he has to go on before he makes his escape is, yeah. The fucking, the mole, we know that he called this job 314 or something. And then he gets out, is like, ooh, okay, now I need to do some spy shit. I'm gonna get this fucking janky ass looking fucking Fisher Price head ass computer, and he goes to internet and types in job, and he got no results.
And then he sees the holy Bible.
I just want to point out that he actually types out job. And then he
Yeah.
types a book of Job later, which
So
I
still
am-
has
Well, he
Oh,
also does
so-
another very weird thing, and this is like more annoying for me because he's like, okay, no, I'm getting no results. I need to rack my brain. Think. What could it mean? What? Oh,
Hank,
there's a Bible.
Hank.
Oh, it's not Job, it's Job, and it's not 314, it's 314. So he goes to the Bible, he opens up, goes to Job 314, reads the entire thing for an extended shot on camera, slams the book down, goes back to the computer, and then Googles the thing he just wrote or freaking read. Because
He just
does
slammed
it
the
look
book
high
here.
tech and spyish if you don't do the tech version? And then he
So-
goes to like some fucking bookofjob.com fucking chat room for seminary students. And he goes to the same fucking thing, basically a chat room for priests because whatever the fuck. And
What
he
up?
messages all of them in multiple languages the same thing. He basically does fucking spam catfish troll email that uses references to the Job 314 and's like, product is deficient. Need to meet soon. ... Winky face. And he sends that
Winky
to
face.
everybody. And then he just waits.
I
and
love
it
you
works.
describing movies. It's like
It's a pleasure. Not gonna
it's
lie.
an art that you have. It's a talent.
It's beautiful.
And yeah.
Anyway.
That whole scene in the age of the internet, as we're all watching this over like fucking Discord in what is, to his mind, space age technology, it
It
hits
didn't.
different, man.
It didn't.
The
It didn't
whole
age well.
up to that point was actually pretty grounded. Like that whole intro scene of like the party and getting the disc and all that. I really like that scene.
Mhm.
They keep it simple. They allow some like fucking creative movie license with how shit actually works, but they kind of get there. It all feels tangible and believable. And this just almost through no fault of its own, just by virtue of when it was fucking made, it kind of snaps you right the fuck out. It doesn't age well, and it's unfortunate.
Mhm.
I'm gonna out
Very much so.
myself. I totally didn't know how Job was spelt.
Really?
Oh, okay.
I thought it had. I thought it had.
Well, I mean, if you're
I thought
not
it had an E.
religious, you probably don't know. Do you
Yeah,
even know the story of Job? Out of curiosity.
That's the whale, right?
No.
No, that's
that
Jonah.
Was
That was
No,
Jonah.
No, that's
Joe-
Geppetto.
Yeah, that's not even a biblical thing. But no, Job is the guy who the devil and God were sitting next to each other, and God goes, "Look at how cool my boy Job is," and the devil goes, "Well, he's cool and he loves you because you give him so much. If you didn't give it so much, he would hate your name." And he goes, "All right, let's try it." And so God removes all his protections, and the devil just goes to town on him and basically removes his entire life. But even as he's like a defunct leper motherfucker, he goes, "God's pretty cool." So
All right.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, I just thought
It was
it. I just
basically the inspiration for The Sims.
yeah.
no, I
It's
did.
but
This,
fuck me. That's so fucking on point. That's literally what it is.
I just thought it had an E in it. That was my whole thing. I was like,
It
oh,
would make sense if it did. 'Cause
That
it's
story is actually
Will
in
these fucking things still want to party all the time if I delete the toilets?
yeah.
Or sell the windows so I can afford pizzas?
Yeah.
that's
And
actually
I love
in
that. So really, real quick, I do love the aspect that like Job's family dies. Like he has a wife and
Yeah.
kids. They die,
It's
and
pretty
then
fucked up.
afterwards, God is just like, okay, I'm gonna give you a new family and new kids, and it's like that doesn't
hold on,
solve
that,
the
that
problem,
solves
God.
nothing.
That's
That solves
like, that's-
nothing.
Oh,
that is
hold on. In God's defense, because you know he needs me to come in, fucking
Defend
full of
him,
white
yeah.
light and all. When Job eventually does get to the kingdom of heaven, which fucking, by the way, absolute shoe in. That is God's boy right there. Fucking won a wager with the devil. Oh, he's going to super heaven. He's going like the prime access, fucking premium content heaven. He's going there, and he's gonna
no.
have 2 families.
Yeah, he's gonna have 2 families. No, yeah,
That's
but
not
like
gonna be
That's
awkward.
2 Christmases.
that's 2
Oh, wait.
Christmases. No, but that's what happens.
Twice the amount of wives and kids to love.
Anyway, it's weird how like little that the book the actual story of Job plays into it. It's just a code name for somebody.
Oh yeah,
But,
it's literally just a fucking code reference.
I was kind of hoping it would tie into that story because that story's kind of hilarious to me.
Have any of you guys seen Good Omens?
Good Omens, no.
Yes,
Yeah, I
I've
was
also
gonna
read the
say
book.
the second season just came out, and that story actually was in it, and they commented on how kind of fucked up it is.
Yeah, because God was
Yeah,
literally
they
like,
would.
yeah. God was like, yeah, devil, why don't you try fucking my boy over? He'll still love me. It's like, bitch, that sounds horrible.
The
I
devil just
remember
went,
listening
bitch,
to
I
that
might.
as a kid and being like, "Oh, I was."
Wait,
terrified.
hold on. Was this New or Old Testament?
Old Testament.
Oh,
Old
that
Testament,
makes
yeah.
way more sense then. The Old
Yeah.
Testament God is not a nice person.
God's kind of an asshole. But anyway,
So when
going
you
back
look
to
at
the thing.
the
So
book,
when you
of,
Google,
the book
so
of
when you
Job,
Google Job, when you Google the Book of Job, you might get a hit on it, and man, just that whole thing is just. So
then he
stupid.
went scroll internet, and then
Yeah, no, he like went scroll like boxes, and like it just started scrolling, and like I said, this is a nerd thing, but like if you look at the sidebar where the actual scroll wheel is, it doesn't move, so it's not actually scrolling anything; it's just moving.
and more than likely it was that movie Magic where that was just a blank screen.
Of course, it was. But like I said, it's one of those things where that part of that particular aspect of the movie did not age well at all.
It's something to talk about, but it's like, yeah, that doesn't age well, and it's just funny looking back.
A little bit. The Tom Cruise acting also in a couple parts was just a little weird, a little creepy. Like there's just that part where him and Max are like after they escape the thing or whatever, and like it just cuts to his face and he's just sitting there with the goofiest fucking look on his face of all time.
I said it during the watch through. Tom Cruise has crazy eyes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, this came up during. I mean, pretty much any time you've seen Tom Cruise in a movie.
Well, and Top
it's-
Gun was there too. Like,
Top
it's
Gun is
also-
the main one because this is like going back to young Tom Cruise again.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
kind of doesn't have the. Well, I'm trying to think. Does he have as much of the crazy eyes when he gets a bit
Not
older?
as much, but it's just because he has more features on the rest of his face because of age. Whereas here is like he's like a fucking smooth baby fucking Ken doll person, so the eyes really fucking pop. And when he smiles at the old lady in the car, his face is like 2/3 mouth. It's freaky.
Is this like pre or post Scientology?
96 has to be pre, right?
I thought it was during.
Could
I'm
be.
not
I don't
sure
know.
when that cooked in. I was just saying because of the crazy eyes. Maybe those.
I mean, it certainly doesn't help. It's his
So-
eyes aren't crazy. You could just see Xenu within them.
That's why he has the ability to run so fast. He breaks all the he breaks the fish tank, and then he's able to outrun the water.
Which I feel like that fish tank had a lot more water in it. I could be tripping.
It was 2 separate tanks.
Okay, it was 2 separate tanks, but man, like from like the angle we got, it made it look like there wasn't that much.
Yeah, it was like he just kind of like blows up a fish tank, ducks under the table, and makes like the immediate surrounding area damp.
No,
And then
like,
they just
no,
like,
he
I don't know why he
floods
did
the
that
immediate
anyway.
area.
Ethan and Hunt.
So
Bang.
yeah, there was a how it worked was there was a fish tank in the wall, and then above all those tables was another fish tank.
Was another
and-
fish tank? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
Had
the pressure from the first explosion is what broke the second one.
That isn't what. That
Like
doesn't make sense.
The pressure wave of the explosion broke the glass. How am I? Where am I losing you? It's close proximity of
but-
an explosion. The glass of a nearby fish tank would also
Yeah,
explode.
but you're saying that the pressure of the water sloshing
No,
down.
no, the
No,
pressure of the
No,
explosion.
you just added in your own head pressure of the water. He just said to the pressure. So
Okay.
you know the fucking wave of air that comes off of a blast and knocks your fucking hair back. Yeah, that is air pressure. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And that's what fucks up your internal organs if you're too close.
Yeah.
Like if you like smack an explosive onto some kind of helicopter and use the blast to propel yourselves forward. You land, even if you make it to your target, all of your organs will be pushed to one side of your body, and most of your blood will be pushed out
How
of
could I be
your
so?
body.
How could I be so foolish?
Yeah. So that thing that did that was a pressure wave.
Got you. Not a helicopter pressure wave, right?
Yeah, helicopter pressure.
Helicopter pressure.
It's also how it was able to like maintain flight when it was fucking bouncing off the walls of a tunnel.
It was being dragged, and don't you understand?
Like somebody played GTA that day, and you're like, okay, all right, I can kind of like bang things with the helicopter. That's okay.
It'll still work, won't it?
It'll still work. Like that's how it works, right? And then somebody looked at him and goes, "No, Job, no."
Red light, green light. Well, so
Red
there
light-
was
Why did he say that?
because
That's how
one
the thing
side,
was explained to him.
one of the sides was red, one of the
I
sides
know,
was
but like
green.
it's weird that he says it like that. That's like his like fuck you, Jim. Red light, green light.
Well,
Well, I mean,
thought-
it's basically just a
I think
very
what's,
slightly more coy way of saying I have an explosive and also fuck you.
I also thought it was weird how there's a different kind of setup for the fact that the what's his face said just don't eat it.
Yeah,
And
just don't
it's
eat
like
it.
you'd think that would mean Ethan's gonna. Maybe it's if this was R-rated, Ethan would put the gum in Jim's mouth.
Somebody's mouth. That'd be horrible. Jesus. But no, he had to shoot his girl before shooting Ethan. That's so fucking sick. There's a lot of this could have quite a bit fucking points of plot armor in this fucking movie.
Well, this is kind of one of my ideas. As
Yeah,
I
you had
noticed as
you
I was
had a,
watching
you had
through,
a defense
it
for it.
starts off really strong, really grounded. That intro scene, real good spy
Really good,
shit.
yeah.
Except for maybe some of the extras being a little starey, but other than that, top shit. And it's just like progressively throughout the film, because they kind of like earned a lot of goodwill with that. The audience buy-in is already pretty high. It's like the audience in general is going to be aboard for some like hijinks, so they can kind of like turn the volume up a little bit. We get to the scene where he's like, dun, 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 he does the thing. There's like, you've got one French dude with like superhuman hands. Doesn't like rats, but other than that, he's fucking
Yeah, he
solid.
doesn't like rats, but like motherfucker has like the strength of like 16 Olympic athletes. Like Jesus
Grip
Christ.
strength of industrial
He's
machinery. Yeah.
he's
And
literally holding like okay, so like let's say conservatively he's 200 pounds, and then he's also wearing gear as well, so he's about 250 pounds of like pure fucking thing that he is just manhandling the entire time. Like I don't know if you ever held a lot of weight for a long time. That shit hurts really bad. But nah, Jean
Yeah.
Reno is just built different. Like
yeah,
fucking
and
hell.
little things like that where a dude being built different, fucking a
Who also
thing,
just has
a timing with like a
oh,
pen injection of shit into a coffee, and also just randomly touching a dude and not arousing any suspicion to
Especially
plant
when
a
you're
thing on him.
fucking like you're like a professionally hot woman. Like
That scene was
people.
weird because she just kind of touched him on the shoulder, went back to reading her paper, and the dude just straight up like turns around and was like, what?
Yeah. And like
Obviously,
it's
like they do it in this movie where like the spy thing is like actually tap him on the shoulder, but like you're trying to get his attention. Like, oh, excuse me, I believe you've dropped your pen there. It's like, so, don't worry about it. They would kind of like fucking smooth it. No, just little fucking ridiculous things, but you're kind of still on board because
kind
up until
of
now it's been kind of grounded. So like you start making little allowances, and then they just kind of keep fucking pushing all the way up until the finale, which is absolute fucking cartoon crazy pants.
it's
well, I was going to
actual
say, and then
insanity.
and Jean Reno can't keep a hold of his fucking knife. 'Cause remember, they get the knock list, and
Did
he's
I break
just
up?
I think
Wait.
he died.
Yeah,
you
okay.
can still hear
No,
him. What?
you start okay, so you just started your game. That like anytime you start a game, it actually fucks up your audio. So yeah,
I've been
you
gaming for quite
wiped out for
a
2
hot
seconds.
minute, actually. So I guess I just had an internetism. So
Yeah.
the thing I was explaining is as they get the knock list, he's just randomly is like, "Hey, I'm just gonna hold my knife while I accept this," and then just drops it.
Just drops his knife like a fucking idiot.
If he had
It's
used
like
the knife to kill the rat, that would make no sense. But it looked like he got it with his bare hands
Yeah,
because there was
no,
no
it
blood
looked
on
like
the
he
knife.
no, it looked like he fucking headbutted the rat. Like, let's be fucking fair. It looked like he just like get chatted that fucking thing Crimson Chin style and just fucking murdered it. Like that's what happened. His hands are not free. It's near his head. We cut away and we cut back and the fucking rat is dead. He
Yeah,
killed
I
that
don't know why
little
you're
I think
acting like
mouse.
this
I
is
think it's
confusing. It's really
I
quite
think
simple.
I think
Frenchmen
it's
are much like the xenomorph, where if they open their mouth, they have a small Frenchman.
a
that comes
baguette
out
will
and
shoot
kills.
out. I think it's supposed to be implied with the movement of his hands and letting go of the rope. I think it's supposed to be implied he snapped the rat's neck.
That so he held Ethan with one hand?
No, he let go completely. That's
tried
why he
to.
dropped.
God, that doesn't
It
like,
makes
that
it
actually
worse.
that makes it way worse. Now that we're sexy sitting here trying to fucking think about it.
A smart person would have just been like, "Leave the fucking rat alone."
Yeah, but no, it's a New York rat. It's gonna be coming for blood. It's like, hey, what's going on over in this? What's coming on in this thread? So
Ooh.
stupid.
It walked
so
up. It went out to John Reno and tried to go like ooh woo, and then he fucking killed it.
No, it's like, oh shit, is that John Reno?
I loved you and Leon the Professional.
I loved you in Godzilla.
I was damn it,
Why aren't you chewing on your gum? Makes you look more American.
and doing your Elvis impression.
Oh yes, sir. Oh yeah.
Thank you very much.
I love that man. Anyway,
I'm surprised he's not in enough stuff.
he's not. It's sad. I love that guy. So anyway, yeah, fucking hell. The fucking the whole like, oh, it goes up in temperature. It's like, yeah, but like, you're blocking the fucking AC vent. Like, it's hotter in there now. You know what I mean? Like you already fucked up.
I don't know
Well,
how
see,
I feel
they
about
did allow a
the.
little bit for this. Like, it's still a little bit ridiculous the way it happens, but they wanted something that could be condensed down to one number that they could show on screen just so the audience can kind of follow. But the
Yeah,
idea was
but,
like, it was getting up to like 30, 40 degrees, which is like running quite hot for a laptop. And even then they were like,
no, no, no,
it's
no, no, no,
probably
no,
just
no,
too
no,
No,
no, no,
hot.
no, 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 no,
no,
no,
we're
no. I'm
talking about
fine.
when the
I'm
CIA.
fine with that. I'm talking about when they're like, it's like it can't go off by 1 degree. Yet we have a full
Oh, the
size man in
room.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
No, yeah,
yes.
that was
Yeah,
We have a
that
full
no,
size man in there,
you
and
want.
like, then they're partially blocking the AC vent, which they made a big point to say this is the only AC vent. So it's like, dude, fuck off.
Yeah,
Like,
if you want to talk about uh the movie tisms of that fucking of that room. It's supposedly its security system is when somebody leaves the room, there's pressure sensitive, temperature, and noise. And then in the preview, I don't know if the preview is supposed to be real or not. That same guy leaves this fucking drink in there and just a
yeah, we're
droplet
talking
of
about
water.
we're talking about like probably the most sensitive computer system in all of America, and this is like the dumbest motherfucker in all of the CIA.
We made jokes of how like this guy isn't getting fired; he's going to die.
One of the very first cases of someone being sent to Guantanamo Bay out of spite.
Like
Yeah,
literally, like what the fuck?
yeah. After all that, Kittredge was like, "We'll send him by Alaska by the end of the
Yeah,
day.
but
We'll mail him his
send him to
clothes."
Alaska, and like part of me's like that sounds fine though. Like that's not the hell that you think it is. It's
Al-
perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's a misconception that Alaska is just this cold
Yeah,
hellhole.
Alaska isn't Antarctica. There's a difference.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Look,
Just
all I
straight
know
up.
is that deadliest catch happens in Alaska, and
It
then
happens in the water. We've already established the water is the natural enemy of everything that lives. Okay, Alaska's fine.
I heard there are wolves there.
Yeah, there are wolves in the water.
Among other things, yes. I
Among
think
us.
Sarah Palin has it under control. Wait, she's probably
Yeah, she like fucking manhandles a moose. I saw the video. It's crazy. But anyway, yeah. So that whole like we can agree that whole scene was fucking dumb.
Entertaining but dumb, especially with
Yeah.
like
Okay.
they're
All right,
just
yeah,
sitting.
let me praise it because yeah, I did like the silence of it and how like quiet, intense it was. It
Yeah,
did like when he gets dropped, like yeah, it's like oh fuck kind of deal.
yeah,
But like
it puckers your ass for a good second.
it's pretty fucking scary, not gonna lie. But like yeah, no, it's like logistically it makes no fucking sense about anything.
Especially with how long they sit still with the sweat droplet.
He
It's like why?
stays there for so long, dude. Like I said, the longer that scene goes on, the more like ridiculous it makes John Renault seem.
Yeah, especially because I asked because I didn't know much about like uh climbing stuff. Like in terms of holding his weight, he didn't need to go to that level of effort. There were
Yeah, there's like different like ways to like lock lines into place and shit like that. And like if you're telling me like this is like space age technology already, like you don't have like fucking locks and fucking rickets and shit. Like granted you can make them think that they make noise, but it's like yeah, but you can like fucking lock them in place. Besides, anything in that fucking room is already making noise.
I was gonna
Like,
say like the rope being pulled like
is
was
making a
making
noise.
noise.
Yeah.
The clackety clack
Honestly,
of the computer would have made noise.
that's yeah, the scene is kind of retarded, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't seem like there's a couple of things like I like the general story and shit like that, but there are a lot of things that don't age well, and I feel like they age well in a way that like make it seem bad, if that makes sense. It's like that's not how it like it just comes down to like that's not how it works. Like
That's
there's
not
not
how
enough
any of this works.
there's not enough movie magic in the world to tell me that that's what fucking happened.
Not to
Still,
mention, let's not forget, the agent man came back, looked directly at the floor, and doesn't see Ethan.
yeah, so they make it a point to show like the Asian man walks in, and yeah, it's like okay, the floor turns a different color, okay, but then like it's like wait a minute, when it's black without the white thing, it is very reflective. so why isn't the guy looking directly down see the fucking thing? And it's like, oh, okay. It's dumb, but it's fine.
Ethan would have got caught like 15 times over.
Yeah. Like I said, the fact that they did the temperature thing, it's like that. Like I get it. Like not a lot of people understand how like air vents and shit like that works, but it's like it would be hotter in that fucking room.
Oh, I straight up did not know that air ducts could even be that big. I always thought that was a misconception that
Like I said,
they could fit a person.
for bigger buildings, like restaurants don't have that big of like ducts or whatever. Maybe if
Right.
you're skinnier, maybe, but like they're not that big. But like I've put up AC ducts before, like they're pretty fucking big.
Okay.
It just depends on the size of the building, how much airflow you're actually going to need. Also depends on where it is. Like in
Yeah.
a very hot place, obviously the air conditioning for a very large building is going to need to pump some serious fucking air around.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I said, it's specifically the bigger buildings, like little restaurants, like PF Chang's or whatever. They wouldn't have that big of a fucking vent. But like office buildings would need it, and obviously, um, anything with like high usage computers, like where exactly were they? Were at Langley, right?
They were at Langley. They were at CIA headquarters.
Yeah, so CIA headquarters has a lot of fucking computers and bullshit, so they would probably need all that fucking air. So yeah, like I said, there actually wasn't that much fighting in the movie. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah, that's why I think that's the reason why I love like
you're
it
trying to think of like
for
choreography, but it's like there's not really much choreography in the movie.
yeah, for its action scenes, they only go like loud and bombastic. They go that's more of a thing that happens in 2 with like the
Okay,
motorcycle chase and
that's probably where I'm getting it confused because I'm like thinking back to like what I know about too, and this kind of like triggered it a little bit.
mm-hmm.
I guess.
One of the points I have set up was so one of the things I really liked in the very beginning and was of reference to the original TV show was that opening bit where Ethan's disguised. We've got Claire on the bed, because that was a lot of what the original show would be. Was that they would try to create an isolated environment so that they could do their mission stuff. That would
I will admit that did seem a little weird because it made it seem like they were trying to set up the guy in a hotel, but then like the whole thing was like a studio.
yeah, the whole thing was fabricated so they could
Yeah,
get the
that's
information. I really liked that.
I know, but it seemed a little weird though because like how would he not notice that?
Because they made it look exactly like the hotel.
Yeah, but
That's
like how would he not know that he's not in a hotel?
he,
Like I said, they're missing a key scene. They're missing a key component to that scene. Is how it got
how
set
that
up. They only show the ending bit, and that's I feel like
that's
kind of weak
fair,
of it.
yeah. Because normally how it would go is they would have, in this case, they would have Claire knock him out, and then they bring him to they take him in
Or
a car to
or just show that he was like drugged or some shit, so he like
yeah,
would be oblivious to it. But like, there's no like setup for that at all. So it just makes it
yeah.
seem like this guy thought he was in a hotel, but he's not, and it's like, oh, okay,
Mm.
moving on, I guess.
And let's see. One another point I have is two things: foreshadowing of realizing like with keep wanting to say Jean Cousteau,
Yeah, you're trying to mix it because his name is like Krieger or Krauser or whatever.
Krieger.
Or
I'll just use
Krieger.
his fucking. I'll use his character name. Krieger's knife being embedded into the lady, and then you see later when he has to stop him from killing the CIA guard, and then when he drops the knife in the computer room, that gives the hint of like, oh, that's the same knife,
Yeah,
the same kind of knife. I mean,
and yeah, it does seem like he does notice that there because like there's a little moment of hesitation before he goes no killing,
yep.
zero body count.
And then
Except
when
for
he
Rat.
and then when
Except,
he meets
well, they're not people.
when he meets Jim again, and he pieces the whole thing together, like he's not. Because Jim is trying to blame it on Kittredge, but what he's actually like thinking is that it was all Jim. Ethan's really smart. That's one of the things I really value about Ethan Hunt is his intelligence.
Yeah, it doesn't like seem like it comes out of nowhere because like all of the pieces are there. Like I said, some of the pieces are a
Exactly.
little goofy, but like they're still like set up really well for that. And like besides like all the stupid shit we've been talking about, like as of like a story sense, it actually is pretty solid. It's
Yeah.
just it's weird how like this like action movie is like the action's a little weird. Fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. Some of the action is actually bad.
The final fight, I agree no matter what, because they're literally holding onto a train that's going God knows how fast. Fun
Yeah.
fact, that was in a
They're
wind tunnel
going.
when they
They're
filmed that.
going. Yeah, but
300 kilometers an hour is the TGV.
yeah, but like they're going so fucking fast that like he lets go and he goes flying. Like they're going fast.
Here's the
as
thing
fuck.
that kind of fucks it up, though, because I feel like in another movie with a very different tone and, you know, consistent with a very different level of realism, a dude flying a helicopter after a train through a tunnel and trying to decapitate a guy with the propellers is something we would get hype as absolute fuck for. It's just that in this movie, it undercuts so much of what the movie was actually built on.
Yeah, and like weirdly enough, it's like yeah, like it's set up that like that guy is stupid as hell because like he's
Stupid,
like
reckless, impulsive, yeah, all of those are
yeah,
set
like
up.
those are weirdly set up despite how dumb they are. Like it is
You know
like
what also is
not
set
a
up? The fact that he's supposed to be a good helicopter pilot.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
But he
could
doesn't really but he
supposedly.
doesn't realize his tail's gonna hit the top of the fucking cave, but granted, I guess he didn't expect to fly into a cave.
I mean, to be fair, decapitating someone with a helicopter is a very delicate procedure. It took up a lot of his attention
Yeah, instead of flying the helicopter, you're right.
instead of flying a helicopter in a way to not crash
Well, not a
in the
crash
tunnel.
when you're already in a very specific thing where you need to be on point. Like
Yeah, you
like
need to be
you guys
superhumanly on point.
I sent you guys those pictures of like me working with the airfield and shit like that. Inside the hangar when I was making those pics, I had to be very aware of where my crane was, uh, in regards to where the ceiling was, because I couldn't boom into the ceiling. Like when you're in situations like when you're operating shit like that, very sensitive shit, like you're kind of like sensitive on that stuff, but he just wasn't because he's evil, I guess. Yeah, like it. Yeah, like you said, if it was in any other movie, yeah, we'd all be fucking like, yo, that's sick. But nah, this movie is like, man, you can't have it both ways.
Exactly.
I'm curious how it goes on to the future, because like I said, there's a group of fuck people we respect mostly for their opinions, and like they said that one of these movies is fucking awesome. So I'm really curious to see how this one goes. But like, I won't say I hated this movie, but I will say there were a point of this movie that it made me really upset.
I mean, on my point there, it's the consistency. I don't mind things being cartoonishly and over the top and bombastic. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
But you have to set it up properly. And you have to be like just consistent within your own movie's logic of what can and can't work. You
Hmm.
set up like this quite grounded, gritty, very good attention to detail way that things are done in the beginning and through most of the middle of the movie. And you just go crazy pants in the last third. Like, yeah, it's exciting and it's fucking awesome to look at, but it doesn't make any goddamn fucking sense.
None
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever.
Yeah, because the only hint we have with Krieger's piloting skills is
Is
he
him
both
saying it.
like yeah, I could land a helicopter in the vault of Fort Knox.
I could land a helicopter on your jugular. I know that sounds really specific, but don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I can probably. I'm so good at flying a helicopter that if its wing was clipped into a tunnel, I'd probably be okay. Ethan
But
just goes, "Wow, that's weird." But sure,
that's very specific.
it's very specific. But yeah, okay, I trust you.
Fun fact: Tom Cruise learned sleight of hand magic for this role.
Yeah, which was referenced in Ant-Man 2.
Yeah. How'd you do that?
How'd you do that?
And then
I like the first Ant-Mans. Leave me alone. I like them.
I like both of them.
I like the guys. All the movie, like yeah, fucking Mauler ripped apart the third one. But anyway, nah. This is where it's weird to grade this on a scale because how would you grade this as a scale as a story, like on 1 to 10? Like as well, not the story as a movie. Because I feel like there's a point to be like, is this good or is this bad?
I think it's at the very most, I would give it a 7. It's got really good setup and payoff and a lot of good character work. Our protagonist is really smart and uses all of his resources. However, its ending, it really fumbles itself because of just how insane it is.
And I think we've had this
Yeah.
discussion before. Like, can a bad ending ruin something?
No,
It can bring it down a few points.
Okay.
But if because then we'd be saying, I would about be saying we'd be saying most Marvel movies would be bad, and it's like, wait a minute.
So at this,
You almost caught
at
yourself
this,
saying something accurate there.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
at this point, like,
Yeah.
it's kind
Well,
of leaning one way at this point.
I love Iron Man 1. My God, its third act falls apart really fast.
Yeah, a little bit.
Uh,
God, what did I just watched some. Oh, okay, anyway, that could be a discussion later.
I mean, if we're
But-
on ratings, I do think most of this movie, it actually almost starts up at about like 7 or 8, and then it just kind of like goes down a little bit with like little mistakes it made. It comes up a little bit with like character shit. I think is legitimately really cool. Like
mm-hmm.
they're still paying at this point in the
I-
franchise a lot of attention to Ethan Hunt as a character, the things he will and won't do, the depths to which he'll go. Like he goes fully fucking rogue, but he's doing it knowing that at the end of this, if he gets the result, there's still hope for him, and that's like his guiding light. Like he's very focused. He's not a super deep character, but he is pretty well realized.
Yeah, he's the
That
stereotypical
shit,
spy.
I think, done quite well. More than
I
the
would-
stereotype.
I wouldn't say stereotype. Yeah,
Sorry,
Yeah.
I think he's
I would say
he
I would say
became
he's-
he became the stereotype of the
I would
modern
s-
spy.
I would say he's a gold standard for a spy. Like, this is what spies
Yeah.
should be like.
So I need to look
And then,
further
yeah.
into this. I forgot a point. John Voight was supposed to be played by the original actor that played Jim, but the
Yeah,
the
you
guy,
said this was based on something.
yeah, it's a TV show from the
Okay, I didn't know that.
60s. No, sorry, not the 60s. Well, okay, so it's originally the 60s. Then they had a more quote unquote modern thing with a different crew, and then it later became the movies. The guy who played Jim in the TV show was supposed to play Jim in the movie, but he did not agree that Jim would turn evil.
Oh, so he's not evil in the show?
No, yeah, he's just the leader of the group.
Oh,
Ethan
is it supposed to be like...
Ethan Hunt's
that's-
not a thing in the show.
Gotcha.
It's Jim leading his team that would be played by various people, trying to stop like the one of the examples that like even Mr. Sunday Movies brought up with his co-host Mason. It was an episode when the guy who plays Q from Star Trek: The Next Generation is playing an assassin, and they have to basically replicate his hotel room based on like while one of them's following him, and he makes his decisions almost at random, so he makes sure he's not followed. So it's like, oh, he's gonna check into room 3, but he changes his mind at the last second, so we have to see them change the numbers of the room.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said the beginning is more of the classic Mission Impossible, whereas the rest of the movie is what it would then later become for the
Gotcha.
rest of the series.
But like, even without context, what you just described is like a little strange, because it's like, so they have to create a hotel room that he's going to?
No, they modify like the hotel rooms, like they find the hotel he's going to be staying at, but he's supposed to check in at 3. He then changes it to 4, so they have to then swap the numbers from 3 to 4.
Yeah, I still think it's a little weird, but like I'd have to see it in actual working.
It's very like 90s TV show type stuff.
Gotcha.
So it's not like the most in-depth thing. That's kind of why like I'll accept the actor's like thing, but as far as like the character of Jim, I'm like I guess if you think he wouldn't turn evil, but then it becomes the adaptation argument of
Yeah, it's just adaptation at that point, and which
Yeah.
is we all talk is like kind of a lame like excuse.
Yeah, anything could happen in a movie, especially for a new audience. Like, you don't need
Exactly.
to set the expectation every time. Also, yeah, that's all the point. That was the last point I had written down.
Yeah. So, sir, what did you say you'd rate this out of 10?
I think most of it, I'm at about like a 7-ish. Like it goes up
Mhm.
and down a little bit throughout the middle, but I do think the ending, as hilariously badass it is, like it undercuts pretty much all of the tension of the payoff. And it's
Gotcha.
just a visually cool as absolute shit, narratively kind of fucking wet paper. So I think it comes down to about like 5, 6.
That's fair. I think I'd agree around 6, just because I had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I'll
It's
say it.
a fun
I'll,
movie,
I'll
absolutely.
say it a billion times. I have a hard time like being objective about something that I have fun with, and yeah,
You're
like I
gonna have a
said.
hard time with 2 then,
Well, like I
because
said, it's gonna we'll have to see, but like I'm perfectly fine with admitting it's like yeah, I had a lot of fun, so my objective opinion on this might be a little skewed.
no, yeah, I
But
gotcha.
there are points where it's like okay, wait, this is actually retarded, and that's kind of what was happening in this movie. I was like, wait a minute, that's dumb. Like, you know what I mean? It's like all of the things you just set up are really stupid.
That's why, yeah, especially the helicopter part. Like
The helicopter
it,
part is just like egregiously stupid. Like it's like, why'd you do that? You didn't have to do that, and you did it that way, and it's like, okay, thanks. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
don't you put that evil. You are not paralyzed.
Paralyzed. Okay, anyway. But yeah, I think that's about it. So tune in next week when we do MI2.
Yeah. See you guys next week. Jog on.
Bye bye.